your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Morning Drive. Man, that was a great Cowboy game last night. I don't think I've ever seen Mike McCarthy as happy after a win as I did last night.
That's a big win for them.
Yeah, big win. I agree, big win. It's and just overcoming what they had 3 turnovers by Dak, 2 interceptions, a fumble. They survived a fumble at the goal line on just an awesome defensive play by the Steelers when they're diving over the end zone and the guy just speared him, and the Dak recovers the fumble.
So these are one of these really fun stories, right? Like, so Jeff's telling us in the Sports Center, or maybe I read it. I can't remember which spot, but it's his first comeback touchdown pass inside of a minute, right? Okay,
in regulation,
right?
He's had a couple. I think he's had 3 in overtime, but this was the first time he's done it in regulation.
Yeah, so we go back to that stat about quarterbacks that have the most come from behind wins, right?
Okay.
And we're like, oh yeah, those guys that they bring their team back and all that. Well, if Dak doesn't play so poorly and turn the ball over 3 times, we're not lauding him for making a comeback attempt, right?
No.
So you don't pat the guys on the back who just lead the whole game because they're good. They don't have a lot of comeback wins, right? So
true.
But at the same time, what do we always talk about? Hey, everybody in life deals with adversity.
Yeah.
How do you bounce back? And can you make big plays? And when you really need to in crunch time? And can you bounce back from something that goes bad? We're congratulating the Red Raiders from doing that after they fall apart in the third quarter. And so Dak needs that same respect, right? The same comment, even though play better early, and you're not having to do that.
Man, no kidding, because the Cowboys dominated that football game. But they couldn't dominate because they kept turning the ball over. They had 25 first downs in the game. Cowboys had, total offense, 445 to the Steelers, 226. The red zone, though, they were 1 for 4. The penalties were just atrocious. 11 of them for 87 yards, time after time after time. I think every single one of them on the offensive line got a false start, hands to the face, stupid personal foul after a nice first down run. You still had a first down, but you had 15 yards back because your offensive lineman got shoved a little bit, and he shoved back. And what do we always know? They always catch the guy that shoves back. But that was a hell of a throw by Dak there on 4th down, because it did not look good, because you're just assuming, you're thinking, well, for all the things that the Cowboys do and Dak does, having a play like that rising up, especially because Jalen Tolbert had been shook up on the play before that, and they had to call a timeout so that he could kind of get his breath back. And then he's able to catch the winning score. And it's funny because in the pregame, I was listening, I was running an errand, and they were talking about who's going to step up because they didn't have this guy, and didn't have this guy, and didn't have this guy. And Brad Sham said, Jalen Tolbert, sure doggone enough. He stepped up there and caught a big ball in the end zone. And the Cowboys get the touchdown and win it. They had 20 seconds left at the Steelers, but the Cowboy was able to do it. Somebody points this out, and I knew this. I was getting ready to get to this. Mike McCarthy was, he's a Pittsburgh native. Grew up in the first neighborhood, I guess, suburb, but very blue collar. His dad was a fireman, owned a bar. McCarthy worked in that bar. He was guy that was worked at the University of Pittsburgh, took a job there for no money. Was a guy that took toll on the bridges or on the overnight job so that he could supplement his income, and studied the University of Pittsburgh playbook. And anyway, so just a great win for the Cowboys, and Dak gave him the game ball afterwards, or the team did. Hopefully McCarthy didn't turn it over when they gave it to him, but probably not. Probably hung on to that thing pretty good. It was supposed to be funny there.
I'm sure he was pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a couple things here from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Shout out to Raiders' dad, who is listening this morning. He is up and at 'em from Lake Bled, Slovenia. Looks like he was doing a little hiking. He posted a picture there. I have no idea why he's there. I'm assuming business. How about Caleb Douglas with 2 great catches? Yep. I definitely said, oh my gosh, that's Micah Hudson on that wonderful catch he had. Yeah, I did the same thing. I went, oh wow. This is so true because there was a huge turnover created by Jacob Rodriguez. Best linebacker performance I've seen in a while. What do you think about that?
He was terrific. I mean, he forced a fumble. He tipped that pass that led to the pick. Led you with 13 tackles. I mean, yeah, what else can you say? He's phenomenal.
Yeah. Jordan asked this question. After this next road win Tech gets, he asked this question about this game. Now he's saying, what about the next one? Will the naysayers finally be quiet, or does Tech need to do more? There's always going to be naysayers.
Okay, well, forgive me or anybody else after the 1-1 start that you had with a 1-point win over an FCS team for being a little bit hesitant.
Oh, sure. No.
Let's not act like people jumped ship for no reason.
No. I'm just
okay. That was a pitiful performance in week 1, and probably even worse in week 2.
Yeah, no.
Okay, and we all sat here and said you're allowed to get better. We'll see what happens. But for people to have doubts after that 1-1 start seems completely legitimate.
I think,
and people for people to have doubts about the way you're going to go and play on the road seems completely legitimate. Now, was it awesome to not see them play that way? Yes, but let's not act like people were jumping ship and stupid for no good reason.
I think he was a little bit deeper on the naysayers than just people that were not happy with those 2 particular performances.
There was that whole third quarter thing on Saturday / Sunday as well.
There was that. Yeah, there was that.
Yeah, let's not get too cocky after one win.
I'm not. It's just there's my point was going to be, no matter what you do, there's always going to be critics. That's just the way it is. It's just how it is in life.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Here on the Morning Drive, time going by quickly today. It is Monday, October the 7th, time for This Day in Sports History. Here's Jeff McGuire.
What is your favorite blowout victory? I'm surprised Chuck didn't immediately say 70-10 against Nebraska.
That's one of them.
Mind.
Yeah. Is today that day?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't think it is today. That's not what I'm bringing up.
I think 11-0 in Game 7 of the '85 World Series was pretty good too. But then
that's pretty big blowout in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the Sunday against TCU when you went into Sunday only having played half of Saturday's game. Came from behind on the 3-run homer from Brian Klein to win it, and then you beat them 22-3.
Yeah, run ruled them in the second game.
In the second game. Yeah.
Well, all of those are very good, and all of those are a lot of fun. However, on this day in 1916, Georgia Tech, coached by John Heisman, yes, that Heisman, defeats Cumberland 222-0, the most lopsided score in the history of U.S. college football.
Wow.
Did he give him the Heisman afterwards?
I probably gave a lot of people the Heisman afterwards. 1928, Pavo Nurmi runs a world record 10 miles, 50 minutes, 15 seconds flat. 1953, Bill Veeck tells the St. Louis Browns stockholders that he faces bankruptcy unless they drop their suit to block his move to Baltimore. They would comply. 1978, Major League Baseball American League Championship. Yankees beat the Kansas City Royals 3-1. And on the National League side, the Dodgers beat the Philadelphia Phillies 3-1.
That set up a really good World Series.
1984, If Brad Sham had been on the call, move over Jim Brown, make room for sweetness. Walter Payton passes Jim Brown as the NFL's career rushing leader. 1989, Ricky Henderson doing Ricky Henderson things with the Oakland Athletics steals a record 8 bases in a playoff series. Was this playoff series 7 games? No. Was it 6? No. It was a 5-game series, stole 8 games. This day, 1995.
Pulling. Intercepted! Zach Thomas! Zach Thomas! Touchdown!
Told you you're flirting with danger.
Zach Thomas with 12 tackles, 1 fumble recovery, 1 interception for a touchdown. The Aggies fans stunned as their 29-game unbeaten streak in the Southwest Conference is 30 seconds from being ended.
And it was with a 14-7 Red Raider victory.
I could hear young Jamie Lent losing his mind in the crowd there.
That's for me, and that's my first big Texas Tech moment where I could say I was there.
Mm-hmm. And in 2012, New Orleans quarterback Drew Brees breaks Johnny Unitas' NFL record for consecutive games with a touchdown pass at 48 when he connects with Davey Henderson in the Saints' 31-24 win over the San Diego Superchargers at the Superdome. It is National Angel Food Cake. It's the start of a really good dessert. That's where I'm at with angel food cake.
It's when they put the little strawberries in it.
Right, then we're making strawberry shortcake. Yeah. It's the start of a really good dessert.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like...
It's an odd one.
Yeah, we're so close to good.
It's like we overthought
it down, right?
Yeah, we overthought that one. Yeah, I think I am turning down angel food cake.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know I'm turning it down, but I'm like, we could have had strawberries and cream on this and made it better. Just 2 simple ingredients that everybody knows. Like a newborn knows that strawberry shortcake is awesome. Like, hey. Happy birthday, former Red Raider distance runner Divine Oduduru is 26. Simon Cowell, 65. Mookie Betts, 32. John Mellencamp, 73. I don't know when the Cougar gets his birthday. Evan Longoria, 39. Charles Woodson, 48. And Priest Holmes is 51. And on this day, 1975, a federal appeals court judge reverses deportation order for John Lennon, allowing him to remain legally in his adopted home of New York City. And that is this day in sports history.
All right, Double T 97.3 has teamed up with the Home Zone, making your house a home, to give away a total of $10,000 to lucky local listeners just like you. To register to win, go to doublet973.com and then listen at this time, 8:45 and 4:45, for the Double T 97.3 local winning word. And then, like I said, go to doublet973.com and enter it there for your chance to win. And we'll give away cash every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The more times you enter, the more chances you have to win. This is not a national contest. It's a local one. The money given away to folks right here in town. We'll give away a final cash amount of $2,500 at 2 Docs on Thursday, December the 5th. It'll be here before you know it. It's all from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone, making your house a home. This one at 6:45 this morning, it did not look like it was going to be a Victory Monday for this team, but it turned out to be a Victory Monday for this team. Ravens, R-A-V-E-N-S, Ravens. It looked like the Cincinnati Bengals were going to win, but the holder, who was a free agent rookie punter, bungled the snap for the Bengals. And the surefire field goal kicker, I don't even know how he got that ball up in the air, because that thing was all kinds of sideways. And at first it looked like he hooked it left, but then when you saw what happened, it was basically the ball kind of slipped out of the hand of the holder as he was placing it down. And bada bing, bada boom, Baltimore gets the ball back, and Derrick Henry does what Derrick Henry does. He had a nice long run, sets up a field goal, and Justin Tucker ain't going to miss nothing. And so the Ravens won.
Missed one against the Cowboys.
That's true. But this was a short one.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens, Ravens, Ravens. Your lucky local winning word at 6:45 this morning. We'll have another one at 8:45 this morning. 6:52 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Marquis says this with regard to a blowout, 58-28, the Oklahoma State win after the UT win. That was in 2008.
That was a nice one.
Yeah, it was. It was. Let's see here. Morning, fellas. I agree that Micah could at least get more plays in the game. Looks like number 3 was struggling. That's Josh Kelly in the fourth quarter. Yeah.
He doesn't look healthy right now.
Also, add a play at the goal line and give the ball to Quincy Ledette, number 5, thinking Refrigerator Perry from Chicago, the Bears. That from Red Raider Charlie.
Got to work on his ball security there. That got a little dicey.
It did. As he was rumbling, bumbling, stumbling after that. Still curious why Micah isn't playing. He shows added
He is playing.
speed.
He had a catch. Did you guys not see that?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
He is playing.
Yeah, I saw it. Let's see. This from Washed Up Guy. I did not feel safe in the second half until Tech secured the onside kick. I'm really proud of our team, especially the way that the defense has improved. That from Washed Up Guy. Yeah.
It's 3 weeks in a row, right?
Yeah.
Well, we've had to secure that onside kick before I felt confident.
Yeah, right.
But, hey, at least you're doing it, right?
Right.
At least you're in a point to take the onside kick, and
Sure.
at least you're getting them. So, hey, they've been exciting, fun games, and they finished with you winning.
Yes.
So I'll take it.
Texas Tech now 12-2 under Joey McGuire when owning the takeaway advantage. Tech won that 3-2. Also, the single possession games that Tech is doing is it's really impressive.
7 in a row in conference play.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
7?
It's a crazy number. And then when you lead at half, I mean they've been securing it. They're 16-2 when leading at the half. So those are all good numbers. All good numbers.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Drive. Thank you for being with us today on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app for that. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. A number of you have asked about how does Arizona end up ahead of Tech in the others receiving votes. That was in the coaches poll, which is primarily done by sports information directors, not the coaches themselves, although some coaches like to see what their guys voting for before. So that was in that poll. And it's like, okay, they had 12 and we have 8. It's not that big a deal. We're still way down the fact. In the AP poll, Arizona's not even receiving votes. So
I would like to see us at top 25. I mean, it doesn't quote unquote matter, but I think it's fun. I think it's. I love when they're giving the top 25 scores and we're in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that our players feel rewarded, that they're a ranked team, all that kind of stuff. So, again, it's not helping you win games or lose games. It might, I mean, who knows, help you like recruit as far as, hey, that's a team that was ranked and blah, 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 all that. But I don't know. Again, like I said, for selfish reasons, like I like to see our score come across and feel like, hey, that's my school. And then I like it for the players to feel like, hey, we've accomplished something. Yeah. That's cool. So
a couple of things from Coach McGuire's postgame press conference after the game Sunday morning. He was asked if he said anything to Taj after the 2 fumbles. He said, didn't say anything to Taj. He knows what's next. Glad he had a chance to seal the victory. And he said, such a good running back, right? He said on their comeback, on Arizona's comeback, the 16 unanswered, he said that his team was not sustaining blocks offensively, got behind the sticks, had to punt, and that's on 2nd and long twice that they were just not, didn't have good plays.
Yeah, man, it was like it was the varsity playing against the junior high in the third quarter. I mean, on our offensive side of things, we just couldn't move the ball at all. Now, the one good thing, and I hate to even bring this up, but like the one good thing that we're seeing, it's not one good thing, but one of the things that we're seeing that's good is, even though you fumbled twice in this game, I get it. you are not throwing a bunch of interceptions that are putting you in a bad spot.
Mm-hmm.
You're not putting your defense in a bad spot a ton. You did some of that in this game with those 2 fumbles. It just feels like it's so rare with Taj Brooks. It's hard to be that critical of it, right? Even though we know that it was costly, but it just feels like in years past, and you look at the road struggles offensively, and you see what was the number going into the game. Going into the game, you were
3-9.
No. But the plus minus in the McGuire era, like you're in road games, you're like minus 17.
Oh, I think it was 22.
In the 3 wins, you're like
know.
plus 3, and the losses, you're like minus 17 or minus 18, whatever. In the turnover battle, and so
I see. Okay.
You're not giving away a ton of interceptions that are leading to easy scores for the other team, even though you weren't moving the ball. At the very least, you weren't throwing pick sixes or whatever.
Yeah. He was asked, Joey McGuire was asked about the kicking situation because Gino Garcia did all the kicking in this ball game. And he said, Coach McGuire said, I don't even ask about the kicker anymore. He goes, Kenny sends him out, Kenny Perry, and I trust him and Tyler Skubanik. He goes, I'm going to have to ask. He said they chose to go with Gino. I let them make decisions of who's going out there. So, Jamie, I had a little extra time yesterday, and I looked at this. I looked at because we've been told, hey, it's every other one.
But you don't have to be told to know that's not true.
Right. But I went ahead and did. I looked at it to see how in the ACU game, it was every other one. In the Washington State game, Gino Garcia did both of them. He did both the extra point and the field goal. In the North Texas game, it was Gino, Reese, Gino, Reese, Gino, Reese, Gino, Reese, Gino. In the Arizona State game, it was Gino, Reese, Gino, Reese, Gino. So it wasn't quite every. And then in the Cincinnati game, it was more Gino. It was Gino on a field goal, Gino on an extra point, Reese on an extra point, Gino on an extra point, Gino, Reese, Gino. So all totaled, Gino Garcia has kicked 16 extra points to Reese Burkhart's 9, and Gino Garcia has kicked 10 field goals to Reese's 3. So it's 26-12 in terms of the numbers. So it's even a little more. There's even more disparity than what I thought, and what you had pointed out last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I went, just did a little research, did a little math, went back and looked at it. So Gino Garcia is your starting kicker.
It appears that way.
Yeah. Captain Obvious. Dan in Dallas, guys, Coach McGuire's been talking about, quote, the plan to win lately. He's been talking about this since really day one. Sounds a lot like Chuck's Rules of Life. Did Chuck help or inspire Coach to create this plan? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Tech is 2-0 after the bye week.
Jacket. Oh, you like it? It looks good. Yeah. Here's my business card. All right. Hey, let me know how I can help. I will.
Let me know how I can help. See the plan to win.
And Fox was using video from Media Day with Coach McGuire talking about different things, and one of them was the road struggles or whatever. But I couldn't help but notice how awesome that jacket is that he was wearing at Media Day. It was still killer months later. Yeah.
Tech is 2-0 after the bye week under Joey McGuire. I feel pretty good about the Baylor game. Okay.
I think you said something earlier that Coach McGuire said that it's so important, so incredibly important, and we so haven't had this luxury. And I just kill me now for even talking about it. But like he talked about the availability of 2, 28, and 10.
Yeah.
Okay, you've kept a quarterback healthy. You didn't have Taj for one game, and by far your offense looked the worst in that one game. And Jacob Rodriguez is playing out of his mind, it feels like.
Boy, no kidding.
It is, man, it's great to have. I'm so sorry if I jinx anybody here, but it's so great to have our key players healthy and out there. You know, and it's not as if it's been perfect for us, right? We keep losing defensive backs and rush ends and that you could really, really use. Mm-hmm. So it's not as like, oh, we've been so, you know,
it's not like
everything's perfect for us. No, they've battled through all that. Mm-hmm. And but man, it's quarterback matters. Having a healthy quarterback and the same guy back there every week matters. It really does, and it's nice that we're finally halfway through a season and we've had the same guy.
Same guy, yeah. And he talked about that Barron got hit hard a couple times. In fact, I think the first one he went over and checked on him, and he was fine. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it's you could use some help in the defensive backfield, but those guys have stepped up too.
Man, Braylon Lux makes a big difference too, doesn't he?
Yep. No.
Yeah, and Mo Horn's playing great as well.
And he got dinged up a little bit in the ball.
I feel like he's maybe the most underrated player on our team.
Yeah, he might. I don't know if he would tell you he's the most underrated, but I think he would say, man, what an asset that he has been.
Yeah, I mean, were any of us talking about him before the season started? I surely wasn't.
No.
Man, he's been terrific. He's been really good.
Yeah. 7:24. You got your question of the day lined up?
I do.
Okay. I kind of have one in my head that I think you're going to ask us. So we'll see.
You know, it's not often that he doesn't have the question of the day ready. I mean, every now and then he's still figuring it out at this point, but usually he's pretty on point of having it ready to go.
He's a prepared kind of guy, Jamie Lent, that Jamie Lent guy.
That whole show prep thing, he's pretty good at.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, gentlemen, here's my question for you today. I don't think it's an easy one. My question for you today is, tell me 2 things that you think you know about the Big 12 championship game. And the one answer I'm taking off the board is you can't say school blank will not be in it.
I think one of the teams will be a surprise from what we thought at the start of the year. Is that allowed?
Oh, pretty open, but okay.
I mean, one of the teams is a surprise, and I don't think we can say right now who's going to be in it. I mean, it's wide open at this point.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty generic, but I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
I kind of feel like those are the same things. That there's going to be a surprise team and it's kind of wide open. Because if it's not wide open, you can't have a surprise team at this point. Kind of threw me off my game there, Chuck. I'll be honest. Okay, so what do we know about the Big 12 championship game? It feels like... Well, I guess this kind of goes into what Chuck, in a different way of saying it, though. For the first time maybe in Big 12 history, it's week 6 and we don't have a clue who's going to be playing in it. Like up in previous years, we could look at Oklahoma, we could look at Texas, we could look at Oklahoma State starting 6-0, or Kansas State running the table at this point.
Baylor at one point in time.
You're not really seeing that this year because we're all kind of beating each other up, which is kind of what we thought was going to happen in the Big 12. So, new matchup. It feels like it's an understatement, but I'm going to go with that. And the second thing we know is that they'll have the Dr. Pepper football toss to win a scholarship. I think that's about all we know about the Big 12.
And I'll be irritated that they don't throw it like a football and that they throw it like a chest pass basketball.
Even though that's it's faster and
more accurate.
Trying to get a bunch in a hurry.
It's not, but it's not throwing the football. It's not proper.
Okay.
Did the football go through the air?
I guess in my mind I had envisioned like we would make a couple like bold statements here. Okay, all right.
Well, you asked what we knew, not what we
what we think we know.
What we think.
I think you're going to see at least one of the teams have at least 2 losses in Big 12 play.
Okay.
Okay. I just think the conference is so tight that we're going to see back and forth. Okay. There are 5 teams that are currently undefeated, one of which is the Red Raiders. And I say only one of those undefeated teams makes it in. So somebody on the outside will make it in.
Mm-hmm.
So one team that's undefeated at this point and one team that's not. I don't think it's going to come from 2 of the undefeated right now.
Okay.
If I was predicting right now, I would predict Iowa State, Kansas State in the title game.
So... Okay, in the spirit of making
and don't they play soon? Don't those 2 teams face off soon?
Let me get you a schedule on that.
While you look that up, the 16 teams of the Big 12, right? So that's 8. How about this? As we sit here currently, one of the bottom 8 teams in the Big 12 is going to be in the Big 12 championship game. Would you be shocked if UCF made it to the championship game right now? I mean, they've got the one loss.
Yes,
I would.
Yes.
I would. They looked horrible this weekend. They don't play to the end of the year.
Right, I was going to say, Iowa State and K-State play the last game of the season.
Back-to-back games for them. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's run it back. Yeah. I would be surprised if UCF made it in. That team's looked horrible 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, I've lost all faith in them. I don't know what's going on there. That was maybe my most disappointing loss of the weekend. I really wanted the Big 12 to get that SEC win, and the game wasn't as close as that final score showed.
You could make if you wanted to make a bold statement, you could say none of the undefeated teams will be in the Big 12 championship game.
I think that's possible.
Yeah,
I think that's possible. But if you're going to do that, I have and I'm not saying it's a bad one. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do that, you have to pick 2 teams that aren't undefeated that are going to get in. Who are you confident that's going to get in? I feel confident in Kansas State.
Yeah.
How long is this injury going to keep going for Cam Rising at Utah? Because they are not the same team without him.
No. And then you kind of wonder, okay, so what's West Virginia look like, or what's Colorado look like, or is BYU as good as? I mean, they're 5-0 and 2-0.
Yeah, and I mean we talked about SMU a few minutes ago and how they deserve to be in the top 25, and BYU went there and won. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it feels like BYU deserves that respect.
So for BYU, they play Arizona next, coming off of a bye. BYU's coming off a bye. Then they have Oklahoma State. Then they have UCF. Then they have their bye. I mean, their next kind of really real game could be, I say real game, but I mean a true test for them could be the Utah game on November the 9th. And then they finish with Kansas, Arizona State, and
You just said they had Arizona coming up, right?
Yeah, but
I think that's a real game.
Okay. Yeah, probably so.
Are you saying Arizona's not any good?
No. I'm just saying they're coming off of a loss. Maybe they're down.
Or maybe they're motivated.
And they have them at home. I mean, they get it at home. And they get Okie State at home.
Yeah, I think that's a great matchup this weekend, Arizona and BYU, to find out a little bit about who's for real and who's not.
Mm-hmm. But in terms of who they finish with, BYU, they finish with Kansas, at Arizona State, and Houston. So you kind of wonder what's of those 3 teams right now, Arizona State's the strongest. So they could have a real kind of run for the roses there, so to speak. run for the oil money or the cotton or the whatever you want to call it there at the end.
Oil money.
Well, it's Dallas,
Okay.
It's not going to be played at the Cotton Bowl. It'll be played at the place where the Cotton Bowl is going to be. Anyway, it'll be interesting. I think one of the undefeateds right now will be in the Big 12 championship game. How about that? I think one of the undefeateds in the Big 12 right now will be in the Big 12 championship game.
Wow, it would have been cool if I said that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll agree with you.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us today on the Morning Drive. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Anticipate still more thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that. Also, the Visual Edge IT hotline is open at 806-771-0973. We've talked quite a bit about Texas Tech and Arizona from Saturday night. What's your? I didn't ask you this. Usually, I ask you this on Monday. What's your takeaway from this ball game? What do you take away from this game and go, okay?
What I'm hoping that we took away is that this monkey that's on your back of winning on the road is gone. That's what I'm hoping that we took away from it. For the most part, besides that third quarter, I thought you really outplayed them. And if you're not turning the ball over 2 times, okay, and maybe that's let me finish my statement first. If you're not turning the ball over 2 times, I think you win this game comfortably by 10 points or 12 points or 14. I don't know. Maybe that's not fair because couldn't Arizona say the same thing? Well, if they're not turning the ball over, yeah. But
based on how you played in the first half, though, you played your best half of the year.
Played them really well, and I thought Level made a great point towards the end of the broadcast about it's just interesting that you have these superstar players and Fafita and McMillan and Taj Brooks, and they all made big plays in this game, but they also were the ones that cost their teams dramatically as well. But, I just feel like you gained some momentum by what you did in your 3 home games, right? And you carried that on the road with you. I think you saw a better offensive performance, and it wasn't like you exploded and scored 45 or 50 or anything, but you were solid on offense. You again, except for that third quarter where you just couldn't do anything. But offensively in the first half, I thought it was really good. Defense holding them to 3s instead of 7s is probably the difference in the game. But all phases, I feel like you played well. Rodriguez was obviously amazing, and Barron took care of the football for the most part. I thought he was solid, not spectacular, not horrible, whatever. It was just a good all-around football game, and it didn't feel fluky to me. It didn't feel like you lost because they had a bad day. You just looked like the better team. You looked like the better team, and so I guess taking what my takeaway is, if you've gotten that bugaboo off your back, well, why should we not think you can win at TCU? I don't know about Iowa State. That's a really tough place to play. And
they're really good, too.
Yes, they're a solid football team, although that game was not in the books until it was a close game, decently deep into the second half. Probably a closer game than that final score showed. But, I just feel like there's no reason right now for us to think you don't deserve to be in the conversation for talking about being in the Big 12 championship game. Okay? And so that's raising the expectations a little bit. So that's fun. That's good. That's a positive. So this is, you got a bye week. You got a Baylor team coming up that you appear to be way better than. And so you got a great chance to be 6-1, and then you're heading on the road to play at TCU. And man, that's just one right now that you just got to have.
Yeah.
Right? You got to have it.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And you keep seeing your defense improve. We keep seeing them get better and better and better. And I would say compared to, if you're looking at the quality of competition that you faced and the threat that Arizona brought to the table with a great quarterback and a great wide receiver, your best defensive performance of the season, I would say. I know you did, you allowed less points against North Texas and all that, but that was a good team on the road. And so, I don't know, it just feels like you're trending in the right direction. And I think you should be allowed to raise your expectations and hopes at this point. Again, I don't know that I'm in the boat of predicting that we're going to be in the Big 12 championship game, but man, you got as good a shot as anybody right now.
Mm-hmm. You know, when you think about this game, I feel like defensively you're getting better each week, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at it, you go, man, you gave up 25 first downs. Tech had 14. You gave up 301 yards passing. Tech had 214.
Bend but don't break.
But
and also when your offense doesn't move the ball in the third quarter and your defense is
on the field the whole time.
On the field, that hurts those numbers too.
You know, you get the two interceptions, obviously critical, and then the stops, you know, in the red zone to force them to kick field goals. But the fact that you scored 18 points off of turnovers and they scored 6.
I think it was Thursday, Jamie asked what would be a stat that you would want to dominate to make us feel better about a win against Arizona last week. I think
that would give us the best chance.
That would give us the best chance to win.
What were our answers? That was a long time ago.
I remember mine only because they happened. And you said you couldn't do turnovers. Well, obviously turnovers massively helped you. Third down conversion rate. What was Arizona's third down conversion rate? Couldn't have been good with the number of field goals you held them to in the red zone.
3 of 14.
Yeah, massive. That was a huge stat.
And Tech was 2 of 11. And they were 1 of 2 on fourth down because you had that early stop on fourth down, which was huge. It's like a turnover.
Yeah, technically you didn't really dominate because you both were bad.
Right, but your defense did. And that's going to what Chuck. We're talking about the defense here. That I'm cautiously optimistic about the defense right now because I still don't feel like you've got the dedicated pass rush that you need to have those championship type goals, but if they play like they did Saturday in the first half when they weren't on the field the whole quarter, man, they were making.
But I feel like in the last 2 weeks, Coach DeRuyter has done something. They're getting more pressure. Okay, they're getting more pressure.
2 sacks in the bowl game.
They're getting more pressure, and it doesn't always turn into sacks, but I feel like they're disrupting quarterbacks way better than they were early on in the season.
They were very physical Saturday night, you know, and just the way that Jacob Rodriguez played as well. I mean,
we were this close to a fat man touchdown. We were this close. I mean, we weren't this close, but we were this close. We got the hard part.
And Quincy Ledet, I think, was your second leading rusher in the ball game because his return was like 20 yards.
I mean, wouldn't that be a receiving play though, since it was batted up in the air and it was caught?
So. Yeah,
so he wouldn't be your second leading receiver.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't.
This close. Fat man touchdown. This close.
It is 8:10 this morning here on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. Victory Monday for the Cowboys. Well, the Cowboy Hour at 6, Monday Night Football at 7. High School Fan Zone tonight at 7. Coaches from Coronado and Estacado on 100.7 The Score.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.